Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of SportsPoint, brought to you by Pointer Studios. I am your host, Jacob Spoerl. Joined here to my right, we got a familiar one and a new guest. We got Alex Proctor and Brett McNamara. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry, I was waiting for you.
You're good, Brett. Yeah, you're doing good. You're looking spiffy.
I am. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overdress.
Yeah, you got me scared for a second.
I know. So, Brett, obviously this is your first time, and I'm sorry that you walked in and looked like I was going to interview you for the next position at the Waffle House. I feel like I'm a Waffle House manager.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
But, yeah, there was a career fair before this. There was a fire alarm in the middle of it, and I just didn't have time to go back and change. So here we are. But anyway, thank you for coming on the show. We usually started off with our crowning champion segment, and for this week, Mekhi Becton, the right guard for the Philadelphia Eagles, a previous number one overall pick, drafted by the New York Jets, who had an underwhelming rookie year in 2020, and for the next couple of years dealt with injuries and inevitably was cut. But this past offseason, the Philadelphia Eagles picked him up, and he was a huge part to give Saquon Barkley one of the greatest running back seasons in recent history. So he was a huge part of that Super Bowl win. And yes, obviously, even though we didn't cover it at the top of the show, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, which we'll get to that in the NFL. Are you disappointed about that?
I wish both teams would have lost.
I know.
Yes,
well, you know what? The day after
for
we
sure.
recorded that and we said, bring the meteor, there was a report. We ended up talking about that in Carrie's class, that there is a 12% chance that a meteor is going to hit us in 2032. Yeah. Get ready, Brett.
So if it's the Eagles and Chiefs, we should be excited.
Yeah, we should.
Yippee!
All right. Well, which one of you two wants to give us our next crowning champion, or your guys' crowning champion?
Go, Brett.
Okay.
Mine's gonna be controversial.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
I got Zach Bond. So a little backstory here. Zach Bond went to my high school for
What?
2 years. Yeah. And then he actually transferred to Brown Deer in Wisconsin. And then went to Wisconsin, obviously. So he's been in Wisconsin his whole life.
Wow.
And then got drafted in the third round by the Saints. And then he didn't really have good enough years there. So then the Eagles ended up picking him up for only a 1-year, $3.5 million contract, and he's been absolutely insane this year. He's led almost the league in tackles.
Yeah.
He's been an All-Pro, Pro Bowl, and he helped them in every single playoff game as well this year, and then especially the interception in the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That was a crazy pick. You said that contract was $1.5 million.
no, 1 year with $3.5 million.
$3.5 million.
Still, that's almost.
I
Like
mean,
a veteran
obviously that's a
minimum.
lot of money, but for it's not really for the year that he had. He had he got votes for defensive player.
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
for
year
sure. Yeah, he was
in the
up there.
NFL. Yeah, that's incredible. Obviously, former Wisconsin Badger. Great to see that. But I guess that moves on to Alex. Your crowning champion's controversial. What do you mean by
Well,
this?
I mean, you asked me beforehand if it had anything to do with the Lakers. No, he's Dallas Mavericks' star player, Anthony Davis.
Oh!
What?
Yeah, you see
Yeah,
that, W?
I'm not gonna lie. I saw it. He was hooping.
Exactly.
Okay.
Better than Doncic.
What?
Hold on. So preface, Brett, you are I'd say a basketball guru, so you guys can kind of go at it with this one. What are your thoughts on the trade and what's happened?
I'm
since
gonna
then?
go completely against what you said. I think that was stupid by the Mavericks for trading him.
what? No, I was kidding.
But yeah, I think that it was probably the worst trade across all 4 major sports.
I was asking my dad, and he said he thinks that's the biggest trade in recent history.
Oh,
yeah,
between
for sure.
Any of the sports, but you can't say that Anthony Davis didn't kind of pop off in the first.
No,
He
looked-
did until he got injured.
Yeah, so that's what I heard. Because I watched some of the highlights. I think we were doing a hockey game. Was that one of the nights that we did a hockey game?
Yeah, I think
I'm not
so.
sure, but I saw on my phone some of the highlights he had on ESPN. And I was like, dang,
Yeah,
they didn't win the trade.
He had the
They
little
didn't.
alley-oop.
But
Yeah,
then,
that
I was
tough.
telling my friends later that night, I'm like, did you guys see AD go off? And they're like, he got hurt. I'm like, what? What just happened?
No, he was rejuvenated.
Oh.
that guy was ready to play ball.
Wow. Okay.
So,
I mean,
that's my crowning champion. I know me and Brett probably going to disagree on this for a long time, but like I said, I don't like the whiner in Luka.
he is a Dallas native, so he's pretty familiar with
it's
the
fair,
Mavs.
but
I'm not saying Luka's a bad player. That's not what I'm saying. He's one of the best
Did you
in the
see?
league.
Did you
I
say?
just never hear him in having interviews or anything saying kind of like how Jimmy Butler was. Like, there's a difference between the way that Jimmy Butler was acting and the way that Luka was acting. Like, Luka said nothing, which I like in a player.
Yeah.
Besides Jimmy Butler, I'm not saying all these things against his own owner.
Right,
How does that look for the owner, I guess? But
Yeah, I agree. Well, as much as those could be controversial, those are our crowning champions, which will move us on to the 3-point try campus roundup brought to you by Point Brewery. We're back. We're really back. And this month's flavor of the month is Concord Grape. I've never had this flavor, so I'm going to pass one out to both of you guys so you can try it. Concord Grape is a handcrafted spin on a classic soda flavor made with 100% real sugar. Point Premium Concord Grape takes the purple goodness of your favorite jams and popsicles and adds the right amount of carbonation to make it pop. Ooh,
that was tough.
That was pretty good. Oh, that's good.
It doesn't taste like cough syrup. I'm glad.
It does?
No, it doesn't.
I was going to say,
This is
I didn't
good.
think it tasted.
Nope.
It tastes medicinal. I think that's good. Alex, give me your review.
It tastes, the ice popsicles.
Oh,
you had when
yes.
you were a kid.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
It's like one of those melted, and you're just drinking.
I kind of got I feel like a nostalgic flavor, but I couldn't put my finger on it because I'm like, the only grape thing I feel like I had as a kid was medicine, but it doesn't taste like medicine.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I had nightmares with that cough syrup or whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh, yeah, that stuff is gross. But stuff that's not gross, campus sports.
Yeah.
I'll start us off with UWSP track and field. That's okay. This past weekend, the Pointers hosted the Big Dog Invite at home. I actually went to that. And this is before we get into that. Out of all the teams competing, one of them was the Wisconsin Badgers club track and field team, which I didn't even know that could work like that. Like their club team could go against our actual real team. But I mean, they had pretty cool uniforms. They had like a cow spot uniform. But anyway, aside from that, the men's actually placed first place in this meet, and the women's team placed third. That's pretty awesome to see. Looking really quick at the men's team, Austin Renhack threw a school record of 17.11 meters in shot put. And I was actually, I used to throw in high school, and I was watching them throw at this meet, and a bunch of them hit like the ceiling and the gates, and
really?
it was a little scary. I'm not gonna. Obviously, it's an indoor track meet because it's that time of the year, but I'm sure outdoor they'll still like hit the beam, but not the. I don't know how it's gonna work outdoor, but also Tyler Nosko won the 800-meter run with a time of 1 minute and 55.60 seconds. So pretty cool to see. Looking specifically at the women's team, Melina Caratini finished in first place in the 400-meter dash with a time of 1 minute and 1.21 seconds. And Melanie Prinzel won the 60-meter hurdles also with a time of 1 minute, 1.21 seconds. I don't know how they managed to match that.
So, fun fact, Mel went to my high school as well. She's my age.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So did I get the name right?
Yeah, Mel
Blaston?
Prinzel, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Melanie
all right.
Prinzel,
Well,
yeah.
that's good because I didn't see a pronunciation, so
No,
I
you're
assumed
good.
that's what it was. But that's pretty cool. So you just know everyone that we talk about?
I feel like I know a lot more people than when I came in here, freshman year, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, there's not a lot of people going here. And then every corner, I swear, it's like, oh, you went to West Bend, you went to West Bend.
It is kind of funny because the former sports producer, Frankie Bright, shout out, was from West Bend. So I think it is interesting how many West Bend connections we got. But congrats to both teams. Obviously, it is early in the season for track. Eventually, it's going to move outside when it's not frigid. But we're in February, baby. So that's all for me, I guess. Brett, do you want to give us our next sport?
Yeah, for sure. We got men's basketball. So they're currently 15-6 overall and 5-5 in conference play. They actually picked up a win last week against River Falls on Wednesday. Sophomore Josiah Butler had 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. So
Okay.
great job there against River Falls. And then last week, Saturday, they lost to number 4 ranked Platteville, 69-78. So lost to them both times. And they ended up winning against them last year, so a little bit down there. And then Malik Abdul-Wahid had 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. And then, UW Stevens Point, they led at halftime by only 1, but then they couldn't get it done. So sucks to see that. They'll face Oshkosh tomorrow.
So Wednesday night?
As of filming.
Yeah,
Yep,
okay,
Wednesday. And then UW Eau Claire on Saturday.
Nice.
And then women's basketball. Also currently 15-6 overall and 5-5 in conference play.
What? That's crazy.
So
I
yeah,
didn't even know that.
they lost to UW River Falls in overtime, 61-66.
Dang.
Senior Alexa Thompson had 14 points and 11 rebounds, so double-double. And then last week Saturday they beat UW Platteville 59-54, where Thompson also led the points section this time with 16.
So they avenged the men's team by
Yeah,
beating
they kind of
Platteville.
flip-flop
Okay,
with the
all
men's.
right.
It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, especially with the similar record that they
Yeah,
have.
for
They
sure.
kind of are synchronous.
I haven't
with
looked
each
at
other.
it in depth if they actually
We got to look at all the
flip-
stats.
yeah,
See
exactly,
if they
every
flipped on
single
rebounds
one.
and points.
So yeah, and then they'll face number 5 ranked Oshkosh tomorrow, Wednesday at home, and then Eau Claire on Saturday.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's a good season for basketball. I don't know
For
if we're
sure.
coming out of the slump right now or in and out of the slump. Obviously, those types of seasons have their ups and downs. But I know a team that's kind of coming up. I mean, they've been on the up, but they're even more on the rise. Alex, can you tell us about the hockey teams?
Yeah, I can take hockey. I got men and women's hockey. We're going to start off with the women. On Friday night, the Pointers locked up the WIAC tournament bye week, so they don't have to play that first week in the playoffs with a 5-3 victory over UW Superior. I didn't see too much of this one. I saw more of the Saturday night game, but apparently it was a back-and-forth battle. Katie Stanius swung the momentum, shorthanded goal, and Soleil Doyle followed up with a power play goal to give UWSP the lead at 2-1 the first period. Yellow Jackets tied things up. Courtney Leasing's second goal of the night, an empty netter sealed the win after Natalie Ahern buried the game winner at 17:30 in the third period. So they were able to kind of cut it close there at the end of the third period. Emily Greege stood tall in the net, stopping 28 shots, while Anna Malson of UW Superior made 21 saves. Saturday night, I did get to watch a little bit of this one, like I said.
I heard about this one.
Came down to overtime, 3-3 heading into overtime.
Dang.
There was a late goal in the third period that ended up taking them to overtime. And then the Pointers got a power play right there at the right in the middle of overtime, and they were able to put it away and just kind of trickled right over the line.
Beautiful.
Goaltender Annie Beck gets the win, making 36 saves. Pretty good. And UWS had Molly Black stopping 23 shots. So they will be playing at home this Saturday against River Falls, and that should wrap up the regular season.
Yeah.
So
Does that game necessarily even matter because they already clinched the bye for the playoffs? Like, do you think that's a game where they just put in their backups?
River Falls, you got to play your best player.
Oh, okay.
They're the best women's team
Oh, really?
in the country.
Wow. All right.
So
well, then
they were undefeated last year.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, but the Pointers are first in the WIAC?
No, Pointers are not.
They
first
just placed it in a bye. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine River Falls is probably 1st then.
So that would set the women's team up at 12-11-1 overall this season, 6-4-1 in the conference.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're on a 4-game win streak.
That's good. Good momentum heading into the postseason.
Yep. And then taking a look at the men's games, slow start on Friday night. Started off 2-0 real quick. Just kind of how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Pointers scored 8 unanswered
Unanswered, baby.
goals, which
That was awesome.
great comeback. It was the first time I've ever seen us down 2-0 in the same period as we've had a taco chant. So,
I didn't even think about that. That is kind of crazy.
So we left the first period for the 2.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And then we added 4 more goals. Ryan McGuire and Matthias Smith combined for 14 saves, while Yoakum and Meyer from Northland combined to stop 37 shots. So, and just a lot of scoring that night.
Yeah,
A lot
I
of
mean,
different guys.
we talked about it a little bit last week, but Northland, according to One Liam stats, isn't the greatest.
Well, they only won one game, right? The whole season.
Yeah, they're 1-22 now, I think, including the 2
Yikes.
losses against the Pointers. But I won't talk about the second one. I'll let you do that. This soda's getting to you. I know it's kind of getting. I feel like I'm getting burpy too.
Okay, Saturday night for the Pointers, though, 5-0 shutout. kind of just a different team came out of the gate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started that game. Sean Bunting had a hat trick that night, so 4 goals on the weekend for Sean Bunting.
That's awesome.
That's his first collegiate hat trick. Yeah, really the Pointers just dominated the game. Me and Matthias Smith combined for 15 saves. He came in the third period, played the last 20, stood strong, so combined shutout. And then Dakota Meyer for Northland made 37 saves. I'll give it to the Northland goalies. They can play. Like,
no, they can.
Oh, yeah, for
as
sure.
much as, maybe 8 goals doesn't say it. 8 and 5 goals on the weekend doesn't say it.
Yeah.
They can play. They can play in the net.
I mean, that second game, like, there was a couple, like, it was looking like it was going to be like 12-0. So the fact that it was only 5-0, it is, you got to give credit to their goalies, but obviously the offensive attack was relentless. But does that count as an individual shutout for you? I know we kind of talked about this after the game.
I don't believe it does.
We got a petition for that. I mean, that's got to add to the stat sheet, man. That was basically a shutout.
But that will put men's team at 17-5-1 on the season, 9-3-1 in the conference. And this weekend is the biggest set of games of the season. We head up to Superior for the last WIAC regular season games, and it's a battle of 1 and 2 with us being 5 points away from having that first spot. So we need 2 wins. And we got it. So
I mean, I'd imagine you guys are very locked in this week. This is a big set of games. What do you think? Just give us a little prediction. What you think is going to happen this weekend?
No, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to win 2 hockey games. We're going to come back in first place. We already secured second, so we can't go down.
Okay. But that's not what you want.
That's not what we want. And there's nothing to save it for now. So we already get the bye week after this week. So you got to go all out. So 2 wins. I'm going to say it now.
Yeah, obviously we're not going to be there, but we will be watching, desperately awaiting these set of victories against the Yellow Jackets. We're looking forward to it, and obviously a very exciting postseason coming up ahead for you guys. So thank you guys both for that segment. Thank you again to Point Brewery. This is a pretty good soda, I'm not going to lie. But that'll take us into the NFL update. So, obviously, this past weekend, Kendrick Lamar had the halftime show. Yeah, obviously. Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl also happened. Really quick, could we switch it to Will Cam? Will, what did you think of the Super Bowl this weekend?
Didn't watch it, didn't care, but I did see the highlights of one Kendrick Lamar. That was the best. He kills it every time. They not like us. Chanting it, the little smirk he's giving, whatever kind of jeans he's wearing. Crowning champion.
Hey! Shoot. I should have just included him in the segment. Thank you, Will. So Kendrick's your crowning champion. It's funny because Kendrick was your crowning champion last week. SportsPoint with Kendrick. That should be the show now. We got to get him on. Can we do that?
Let me just DM him real quick.
But thank you for your honest take. Yeah, I don't blame you because this Super Bowl as a game itself, I will say, I am very happy that the Chiefs did not win. Not only did they not win, but they got whooped. The final score was 40-22, but those last 2 touchdowns that the Chiefs got and both 2-point conversions were in garbage time. They got killed.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. There will be no three-peat. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Eagles fan, but I'd prefer the Eagles to get 2 Super Bowls than the Chiefs to surpass the Packers and get 5. But did you guys watch the Super Bowl this weekend? You didn't watch it? I mean, I know you weren't really excited for it, but did you at least watch the halftime show?
I've just seen bits and pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is your take from the bits and pieces? I know this isn't exactly.
I mean, I feel like there is a little bit of some hidden messaging laid behind it.
There definitely is.
There's a lot of hidden
I will say
messaging.
that I'm glad you saw that because that was there. Sam Jackson as, oh my gosh, Uncle Sam. I was thinking of Jackson.
Uncle
like what?
Samuel Jackson.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, I enjoyed the halftime show a lot. Yeah, it was a fine game. But yes, the Eagles. Congrats to Philadelphia. grease the polls, didn't matter. Philadelphia still won. It's funny because the result of Philadelphia, you couldn't be able to tell if they won or lost, I feel like.
yeah, they would have.
The amount of insanity, the amount of horses that were ridden in the streets by. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Fans were just like, take police horses and just go ride them around.
What?
There was light poles being carried around.
I
Cars
saw
flipped.
like a TikTok of like them getting greased with like the
No, it's crazy.
paint pole things or whatever.
It's crazy. All the Eagles fans I've met, which is probably like 3 in my life, yeah, they're insane. So, but no, it was a decent. It wasn't really a decent game. It was a fine game, but yeah, the Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. And looking to the future, the Eagles have a lot of guys that they could re-sign, like Zach Bond. I don't know. I think Saquon was like a multiple-year contract.
Oh, he's got.
It was still. They might end up renegotiating and paying him more because it was like $13.5 million, and it was like 40. I think it's $13.5 million a year. I'm not really sure.
I think he could have took more money from the Bears.
He could. He made the right choice by not heading to the NFC North and staying in division. If you showed a picture of him winning the Super Bowl, holding the Super Bowl trophy in an Eagles uniform to Giants fans a year ago, they would think it's AI. But the fact that it's real, I'm so sorry for Giants fans. But and Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl MVP. You know what? I've been sleeping on him all year, and I'm kind of glad that he proved me wrong because I don't love the Eagles, but I was like, he isn't. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback, but he proved he's pretty dang good.
He showed out, yeah, for sure.
Do you think that he should have won Super Bowl MVP?
I think so, yes, just because, I think it was Josh Sweat said that he had 2.5 sacks.
Yeah.
But, there wasn't really, the Jean interception, besides that, it wasn't really, oh, look at this. He did that kind of thing with another player.
Yeah.
When Jalen Hurts, he took the next step in the Super Bowl, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Now, I kind of mentioned it at the top. Alex, I don't know if you saw this, but Cooper DeJean, the rookie corner that I did want the Packers to draft at some point, but he played a lot better than I thought he did. He picked off Patrick Mahomes and got a pick 6. Now, I don't know if you know this, but white corners are so rare in the year 2025. It's like a solar eclipse.
I think there's 3 now.
It's him, Riley Moss, and
I would say, I don't know if I'll consider Reed Blankenship.
No, Reed Blankenship's a safety. And, white safeties, those happen. But white corners, have you heard that song?
It's been a while.
Cooper DeJean is corner safety. Yeah, okay. So you're all educated. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. I guess our generation's Jackie Robinson. But moving on to the next part about the Super Bowl. So you watched it, Brett, and you said this. The score bug that Fox that introduced. So every year they flip off. CBS will do it one year and the following year Fox does it and it flips back and forth. But every year they do that, they introduce a new score bug that they'll use for the next several seasons on that station. And Fox did a new score bug that looks terrible. I think it looks so bad. And the fact that I have not seen more people be like, this looks like a 5. Our scoreboard that we use for hockey games, for football games that we've used is better. Have you seen this, Alex?
Yeah, they have the little Fortnite text on the bottom.
That's pretty accurate. When the Chiefs were on offense and it said first down, the little text that flipped.
Well, I liked how they brought in a player or something like that. You know how on the sides how they bring an animated player.
Oh yeah.
I like that, but
the scoreboard,
the original scoreboard, it was just the letters, and it looks like a middle school soccer team's score bug.
Yeah,
from a live stream. But yeah, it was just there was no thought intended for it, and I didn't like how it was it said the names, and then in the middle it showed the field.
I think it's weird too because they colored the text of the border text for the teams. For Philadelphia, it was gray, so you couldn't really tell. But for KC, it was yellow, and it was the only text that was yellow out. It looked stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here. Hold on. Let me flip it. Oh. You got that. That's what it looks like.
Behind the numbers, there's the field. I don't like how I can see the field behind
I don't know.
It's too boxy,
and when it flipped up and said 1st and 10, when the Chiefs were on offense, it reminded me of the Quick Trip logo. It had the same italicized font.
Well, I always Fox for me has always been that futuristic kind of
CBS
aspect.
is more kind of classic.
Yeah,
Fox is we're pushing.
Sure,
I do agree with that.
But yeah, it was really disappointing. I sat it and watched the TV, and it was just I was in disgust. But
yeah, the episode dropped last week Friday. They come out on Fridays. every SportsPoint episode does. But they're filmed Tuesdays. So last Tuesday when we filmed it, I'd predict like who should win MVP or what NFL awards were won. Well, I was kind of surprised. Lamar Jackson did not take the MVP. Josh Allen did. And more importantly, not more importantly, but as a Packer fan, Sterling Sharp finally got into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, one of my favorite players that I've never watched. But he was insane. He was a really good receiver who had a short career, ended basically due to injury, and he just never has gotten his flowers. But there was a lot of snubs in this class. Everyone was mad at like that Eli Manning isn't first ballot, but do you think Eli Manning's a first ballot Hall of Famer, Alex?
I don't like Eli Manning.
Oh, you're not an Eli fan?
No.
Huh? Do you like Peyton Manning?
I like Peyton more than
Okay,
Eli Manning.
I can get down on that. I think Peyton overall was a much better quarterback, but they had the same amount of rings. And I think that debate is like, well, that playoff run in 2007 where they I think the Cowboys had 13 Pro Bowlers in 2007. They beat that team in the divisional round. Then they went to Lambeau in January, beat Brett Favre in the NFC Championship, and then they went against
Packers team.
and then they went against an undefeated New England Patriots team in the Super Bowl with Randy Moss, Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and they defeated them too. Like that alone, I could get okay. That's pretty cool, but at the same time, Eli Manning shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think so. But
I just feel towards the end of his career, he didn't do the same things that Peyton was doing.
no,
too.
Peyton, it was like those last 2 years, but he also won a Super Bowl. Eli, I feel like it was the last like 4 where I was like, this guy's got to retire.
Exactly.
But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I guess some other quick news. Aaron Rodgers, it's not official yet, but it was reported on the morning of the Super Bowl that he's no longer going to be a New York Jet. Ooh, please don't go to the Vikings. Please. You know what? He's not completely washed, but he's not MVP Rodgers anymore.
I mean, he didn't have a bad year.
No, he did it. What?
Look
What?
at the.
You think Aaron Rodgers going to the Titans? Now, we talked about it we should talk about the Titans more because you are not a Packers fan, even though, Alex, you should. But, that's not up to me.
You gotta start cheering for somebody who wins.
Packers
It's not gonna
are...
be the Chiefs or Philadelphia.
Well, since the Super Bowl is over and now we're about to enter the next offseason, I can say confidently the Packers will win Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. That would be cool if we do end up purging our demons in a stadium against a team. I mean, it wouldn't be against the 49ers, but that is the 49ers' home stadium.
NFC Championship. I'm kidding. The 49ers are not making it.
No, I don't think
There's
so. Early, you know what? Screw it. Early predictions. Who's going to the Super Bowl next year? It's so early.
I think the Bills get over the hump.
Whoa.
I think the downfall of the Chiefs is happening.
Whoa.
This is the start of the downfall.
This is the start of the end?
Yep.
I thought that of Tom Brady in like 2016, then he won like 2 more Super Bowls and went to 3 more. So
I don't mind the Bills.
Oh, I like the Bills.
I mean, I like Baltimore. Like,
Oh.
I know some people
for
don't
sure.
like Lamar Jackson, especially my dad. But
He's not a Lamar guy?
I
Is
don't
he
think,
Joe Flacco?
I don't think he's a Maryland person.
Oh.
So
What happened to Maryland?
I don't know.
Louisville.
I don't know if I really mess with Maryland either.
Ooh. Maryland beef with the Proctors?
No,
Perchance?
I don't know. It's not my favorite state. I'm not going to say the Titans because it's just disappointing. Not going to say the
Dang.
Cowboys because I like
Made me
watching them
sad.
lose. I don't know. Packers,
Houston?
I guess it would be cool to be in the state where the team wins.
Well, you're also in the state where the NFL draft is going to be hosted. So I think things are on the up and up for Green Bay. Very young team.
Packers will not be selecting in the first round, though.
They won't. What do you
know
mean?
why?
Why?
Probably going to trade it for...
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Is this news? So you're saying you're predicting the Packers won't be picking the
feel
first round
like-
because we'll trade for someone.
Well, just imagine all the Packers fans are there, like watching
It happens
the Pro
there?
Bowl, and you just get the notification. And everybody's freaking out that we got like Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. Like, I would rather that than
I
the
would
Packers
too.
select some guy that's supposed to be drafted in the 3rd round, Lucas Van Ness or like Rashawn Gary.
So you have beef with that pick too? I didn't.
Yeah, and I'd rather them do that and just take a player or trade for a player that is already well known.
Yeah.
Instead of trading back into the 2nd round.
I mean, Alex, what if you end up jumping ship and the Titans become good?
No, I'm not jumping.
Oh, you're not
ship.
jumping ship.
I'm
It's not
just-
official.
I'm just like latched on elsewhere while
You're
I'm
like
still supporting.
you're like grabbing onto two boats.
Okay, but like if we get Travis Hunter,
I think you might. I think that's what the funny thing.
He's
I
a
think
mid player at best.
Yeah, Liam's catching strays because that is still a take that I watched it back and I was like, why wasn't I defending him more? Like I was like, not Liam, sorry, Travis Hunter, someone I've never met, but it's like he's not mid. He's not.
mid.
but if they get Travis Hunter, I'm getting a jersey.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on, you have to. He's the
But like I said, Levis likes throwing the defense. He plays both sides, so it's like we might.
I can't remember the last time the Titans have picked. I don't think they picked number 1 overall in recent history. I don't know.
No, not that high. I know they picked top 5 multiple times.
Like, yeah, they had
They got nothing to show
Skronik
for it.
and JC Latham. They've had a lot of like not sexy picks, like picking O linemen, the big boys. But if they get Travis Hunter, like,
Well, they were good like a couple years ago.
oh yeah, we were talking about it last week when they went to the AFC
AFC
Championship
Championship,
game.
yeah.
Like that was a good
That was a
Titans
good team. That was a good team.
They shouldn't have gotten it.
That's when Derrick Henry was.
I was
Henry.
surprised.
Yeah,
I was
King
surprised
Henry.
Ryan Tannehill was like elite almost.
It's crazy because he didn't even start for them that season. Mariota did.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that'll move us on. It is official. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Tennessee Titan. That'll take us to the NBA update. Now, I will say this, preface this again really quick. The episode came out Friday, but besides the Luka trade, which we talked about last week, a lot of trades happened like the next 2 days that we filmed before that. So we got a lot of updates for you guys, some of which are controversial. But Brett, why don't you tell us about it?
So I had to skim it down to like besides the Bucks trades, those are separate, but
Yeah.
like 2 big trades, I guess. The biggest one being Jimmy Butler in Miami is done. Finally, like it felt like it was ongoing.
The saga is over.
It was just way too long.
Yeah.
Him complaining, Pat Riley complaining. I just hated it. But yeah, he goes to Golden State in a multi-team deal that sends another former All-Star, Andrew Wiggins, who goes to the Miami Heat. So
Okay.
that was probably the biggest trade. And then right behind that,
Yeah.
I would put De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine actually found new homes as a 3-team deal was struck with Fox joining up with Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio and LaVine replacing Fox in Sacramento.
Yeah, the Spurs. Do you think this makes them a little bit more of not necessarily maybe a contender, but a little more?
I think that
Closer to a
they'll be the 8th seed, so they'll still be in the play-in. But
Yeah.
I still think that they could still go into the playoffs. I'm really high on them now.
Yeah, I think the Bucks lost them, right?
Well, yeah, they lost.
I mean, they've lost to a lot of teams now, but you know.
No, they beat them one time. I think they lost them
Yes,
once.
yeah,
I think they
that's what I
split.
thought. They might have split.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the San Antonio team's good, and then Sacramento's meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, then the Bucks actually made 4 trades during this deadline. The big one being longtime Buck Chris Middleton going to the Wizards with A.J. Johnson, so our first-round draft pick also going there, for Kyle Kuzma and Patrick Baldwin.
Yeah.
What do you know about Patrick Baldwin, Jacob?
It's funny you say that. So obviously, Alex, you went to high school with Kyler Murray. You didn't go to high school with Zach Bond, but you went to the same high school as Zach Bond. I went to high school with a certain Patrick Baldwin Jr. He was a very good basketball player, offered to play at Duke. He was a grade older than me, so it was pretty cool to see him play or at least get drafted by the Warriors. But he played he got traded, I think, the following season to the Wizards. It was on their G League team. But it was cool that it was like, oh my gosh, this guy I went to high school with, like he's on the Milwaukee Bucks. But then a day later, what happened, Brett?
So I texted Jacob in our group chat, and
Yeah.
I said that this guy will not be a Milwaukee Buck by this time tomorrow. Sure enough, he gets traded to the Spurs for money, and then Baldwin was later waived. So
PJ, if you're watching this, come on the show. But I've only talked to you probably twice in our entire high school career. But I'm not saying he was like a legend or anything, but it would be cool. That is crazy though. He got traded the next day and then got cut or waived.
yeah, and then they made 2 more trades. They sent DeLon Wright to the Knicks, who wasn't really getting a lot of playing time for the Bucks after they signed him this offseason. And then they traded him to the Knicks, obviously, for a young center in Jericho Sims, So he was in the dunk contest a couple of years ago, so he can throw it down. He's tall, so hopefully he'll get some playing time. And then finally, the Bucks acquired Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers for former first-round draft pick Marshawn Beauchamp. So Kevin Porter Jr. He had 19.6. He was averaging 19.6 points per game last year for the Rockets. So he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Beauchamp just never really did anything for us. So
yeah, and obviously a lot of trades happening. I think the biggest one of all these is obviously losing Chris Middleton and A.J. Johnson for getting Kuzma and PPJ, who eventually Patrick Baldwin was not, really a factor in that trade. But a lot of people I know were obviously, somewhat justified seeing Chris Middleton go. But from the Bucks games that I've watched, I haven't seen like Cash Money Chris. Like he's not the guy when we won.
Well,
the
when you
finals.
have
not the same guy.
When you have 2 ankle surgeries in basically the same season on separate ankles, it's kind of a red flag. And you're looking at a lot of people, obviously it's because of the memories you had with him, but like you look at his last couple seasons, what he really had, it wasn't the same Chris Middleton. This guy could not move as fast as he used to, and Kuzma's way more electric. He's younger. He can make that next jump to be a star player.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset about that pick because of how like inconsistent his shooting was. I had never. Now I thought I hadn't heard of him, but I don't know if you showed me the picture when he dresses. Was that Kuzma that dresses
with
up?
the toes.
Yeah,
the toes.
Oh gosh, not the toes. Hold on, pull it up. Alex got to see the toes. Pause.
Oh, I don't even know if I'll be able to find that.
Just take your time. I'll. The other thing I was gonna say while you're looking for the picture, AJ Johnson. I was just like, we had just drafted him this offseason. He was our first round pick, and like I knew Chris was at some point gonna get traded. Yeah, you see the fit pick. Sorry.
Bring him back.
But yeah,
remember those Skeletos, the shoes?
Yes.
Yeah, I used to have a pair of those.
Really?
Hard.
Where did those go?
I don't know. I get another pair.
Could have used those for that.
But yeah, he's been
Halloween
Kuzma though. He's played 3 games. He's averaging 15.3 points. Like he's actually been playing pretty decently so far. I would say he's been playing better than Chris has.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Chris was start of the year hurt, and then when he came back, I feel like he didn't have much of an impact.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that Beauchamp trade too. He was just. I was talking to my boy Killian, shout out to him. But yeah, we were talking back and forth, and we were saying, yeah, Beauchamp's probably gonna get traded this season. Sure enough, it happened.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I got for the NBA is the All-Star games are this weekend.
That's right.
So yeah, on Friday there will be 3 Bucks that got selected across all the events. Ajax, Andre Jackson Jr. is in the dunk contest.
I did not know that. I just read that. I didn't even think he was.
He's got hops. He can.
Well, have you guys watched the dunk contest as of recent? Because I remember last year it was very controversial because people thought it was poo poo caca. Perchance.
Yeah, it was. Well, even the years before, I would say the last 2 years have been better than they were, but the last, I want to say 5 years, there was the big Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine dunk contest, and that just set the standard so high, I feel like, where nobody was up to that level, and the fans were just like, oh, the dunk contest sucks. And then they're bringing in players that nobody's heard of before, and then finally they brought in Mac McClung 2 years ago, and he hit that standard.
Oh, I do remember that.
He hit that standard, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is the rejuvenation of the NBA dunk contest. And then they brought him back again last year, and it was just kind of, it was okay. So yeah, they brought him back again this year. So we'll see if Ajax or whoever else is in it can, take that chip from him. And then Damian Lillard's going to be in the 3-point contest again. So he won it the last 2 years. So we'll see if he can three-peat.
He can three-peat.
And
Do what
then
the Chiefs couldn't do.
yeah, for sure. And then he'll also be in the All-Star game. And then, of course, Giannis.
Dude.
He was selected to be in the All-Star game, but he won't be able to play because he got injured. He hurt his ankle or his calf.
Yeah, it was something with his calf. He's got to miss several weeks. So.
Yep.
And the Bucks, I think, first game after that he got hurt, we won. But then the game after, I think it was last night, as of recording, it was last night against the Warriors, and we lost.
They lost. But, yeah, he's been out for at least 4 games now, I'd say. But, yeah, it's been kind of iffy. But he'll be back by, I would say, the first game after the All-Star break.
Are we going all the way this year?
I don't know.
You think
I said it on 90. I said that we were. And
you think we're going all the way?
I said it, and Liam started freaking out, so.
Well, I mean,
Well, this is
what,
right
what,
after.
Alex, what if we get a Bucks Lakers finals?
My God, Doncic.
Are you gonna get a Doncic jersey?
No, I'm making a Bronny jersey.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. The
child.
The child.
I like Bronny, so I want to see Bronny win it.
Oh,
You like Bronny James?
Yeah,
you want to see the Lakers? Wait, you
Wait,
wanna see the
LeBron James or his son?
the child.
The child. All right. Well, I could see the next part in our script. We got the NHL update. Once again, thank you, Brett. But what's going on in the professional and also collegiate D1 hockey world?
Well, the sad part is nothing has really changed NHL wise.
Dang.
Dependent standing wise.
The Sabres lost. I'll give you that update.
Yeah, exactly.
What else is new?
So the Sabres still sit in.
They're so bad.
Sabres are still last in the
wait.
Atlantic Division.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Brett, do you have a favorite NHL team?
Calgary Flames.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. You lived in Canada.
I lived
Never
in
mind.
Canada. Yep.
All right,
That's
sorry.
better than the Sabres.
Yeah, it is. I know. I picked the wrong team.
Well, it's
And you know what? We lost to the Predators too, Alex.
Well,
That-
I was peak Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau. Those are my two guys. And then when I moved in for first semester, and Johnny Gaudreau unfortunately passed, but it just that sucked for me. I was like, are you kidding me? My favorite team, and that happens.
Dang,
but
man. Yeah, that's obviously unfortunate.
Yeah, so recently, just a couple games over the past few days. February 8th, the Knights played the Boston Bruins. Knights pulled the victory over the Bruins 4-3. Tampa Bay played Montreal on February 9th. Lightning won 5-3. Brandon Hagel from the Lightning has been unstoppable. He's been on fire. He was named the first star of the week by the NHL. Dallas played San Jose the other night, 8-3 victory.
Hey.
Sharks aren't doing too hot
They
as
suck.
of the last 2 years.
They suck.
The big thing coming up though is the Four Nations face-off. It's the first time they're having this. It's Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the United States.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's the best players from the NHL playing against each other.
Whoa.
From February 12th to the 20th. So it's supposed to be a big deal. It's going to be
during the NHL season.
yeah. So it's like
What?
they're like taking a break.
Oh, so
okay.
it's kind of like an all-star break, but these games, are they going to matter for the NHL record? Is it just
No. So it's
Okay.
it's USA, Canada, Finland, Sweden. It's all the best
Like they're
players.
separated.
Yeah.
Separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Separated in the teams. The big news was coming that Sidney Crosby got hurt in one of his previous games.
Like
so
one of the
they
5
were,
NHL players I know.
Yeah, well, he was looking like he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Oh.
Turns out he is going to be participating in the opening game. So it'll be
good.
cool to watch, kind of like all the NHL All-Stars play with and
That
against
is
each
cool.
other. So
I like that. I wish that
Where-
the NBA would do that. Or
Yeah.
something like
yeah.
that. That'd be cool.
Where are all the games going to be in different spots? or-
they're playing 2 games in Boston, 2 games in Montreal, and then I think the final game is in Boston.
Dang. So it's all in North America.
Yeah.
Dang. That sounds really cool. I'll have to check who wins that, and that'll be.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be fun to watch. My only thing for NCAA hockey is the Beanpot tournament is over.
No.
So it's the best teams in Boston.
Hey.
And Division I college hockey. BU upset BC 1-1. So BC's number 1 ranked team in the nation, and BU is 9th, I believe, and just a dominating victory.
4-1, you said?
Yeah, 4-1. So,
Dang. Dethrone the champs.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, really quick. Well, in that big, 4-country thing, are any Buffalo Sabres being represented there? I just looked right now. The Sabres are 22-27. Dang, they're last in the Atlantic. Wow, they are really bad. It's funny because, I feel like they have. No, they're bad. I have to pick a new team or something. The Pointers are my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. No, that is truly the only hockey. The hockey. That is truly the only hockey that we watch, or that I watch, I should say. Doing those games this weekend, that was pretty fun. Will, you were at one of them, right? Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Fun.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
fun.
That's true. They were fun. But do you guys have anything else for us?
I was just gonna say that spring training starts in like 10 days.
Oh shoot! Baseball is officially on its way back. Early predictions. Who's going all the way? Who's winning it all?
I think the Mets have a good shot now with Juan Soto.
Alex disagrees.
No, it's not that I disagree. It's just I don't. Ryan McGuire likes the Mets. I
Oh,
don't like the Mets.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't want to say the Dodgers too. If they're super
That
team.
would be really boring. That would be, but that might happen. I'm going the no longer Oakland Athletics. I'm just kidding.
there
I'm
you
not
go.
picking the A's. I'm not picking the A's.
They signed a few players that are decent. They won't make the playoffs, but they'll be better.
I think the Rangers will be better this year. I don't think they're gonna, they're not gonna be as good as.
I'm surprised because they made the World Series the year prior to last year.
They won the
They
World
won the World
Series.
I thought no, Arizona did lose. That's right. They got their first ever World Series win. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a good team that year. But yeah, the Brewers, last year obviously they had a really young team. They weren't supposed to make the playoffs, and they did.
23 Packers essentially.
Yeah, basically. But then this year they haven't made a big move. The only big move they did was trade away Devin Williams, and we got Nestor Cortez.
Sign me.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I can. What position do you think I'd be able to play? What do you see me at?
Left bench.
Left. Did you say left bench? Okay, we're just gonna move on. That'll wrap it up. Thank you guys. Thank you, Brett, coming on. First time. I hope you had fun. Thanks, of course, Alex. Everyone that helped out. Will, hopefully you had a good time over there in the fishbowl. And make sure to check us out, Pointer Studios on Instagram. Check out everything else we got going on. But thank you to everyone, and thank you guys for coming on. That'll be all from us. And from all of us at SportsPoint, we'll see you next time.